When was the last time you called off work because you really need a day off? Today we're talking about not calling off work, but we're talking about burnout. So I have a lot of great friends in my circle, and they will tell me, hey, Victoria, I think you need to take some time off. Usually it's my friends or like my husband or another family member that will say, hey, I think you need to take some time off, because they'll realize that something in me just isn't right. And they'll usually recognize it before I do. So I have experienced burnout plenty of times. So burnout actually is, when you're feeling very overwhelmed, there's a lot of things going on, you're tired, you're exhausted from doing whatever it is that you're doing. And so a lot of times I'm doing things that I actually really enjoy, but they're draining me. They really are. And so I come home cranky, or when I get home, I don't want to cook because I'm just extra tired, which happens on a normal, but I am extremely tired. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anyone. That's kind of what burnout is for me. And so those people recognize that in me and say, hey, Victoria, knock, knock. Just want to check on you to make sure that you're doing okay. Hey, you probably need a spa day. Hey, you probably need to take some time off work. Hey, you probably need to do X, Y, and D to kind of get back to your normal self. So I want to talk about like kind of my experiences with burnout and what I've done to help manage that. I don't want to say completely overcome, but to help manage that. One thing before we get started is I want to make sure that burnout isn't just associated with your normal job. Like I'm thinking like a 9-to-5 job, whatever your normal day job is. It's not just associated with that. It's associated with a lot of things. You could be a caregiver for a family member or a friend, and you can be burnt out from doing that. You could be a mom or a parent, a dad, and you are caring for your small children who require a lot of time and energy, and sometimes you get burnt out from doing that. So I just want to say it's not just about your job, but in my case, my issues always come from my job. So the very first time I experienced burnout was my very first job, right out of college. And at the time, one of my coworkers had went out on maternity leave, and so I was kind of taking over her work and my work. And I was just having some issues with like management helping me do things, and I felt like there maybe could have been a little bit more assistance there. And so I was really burnt out. I remember working before work. So I would go to work at 9. I would get up though at like 6 and work on my computer before then. So I would do work before I got to work. Then I would get to work and go to work and work. And then all the things that I didn't get done on my to-do list, I would do that work after work. And I would repeat that same cycle over and over again. And part of this is the issue that I have with being an overachiever and being very ambitious. I want to do good work. A lot of times I enjoy my work, so I am like head down doing it, but a lot of times I put almost too much into it, and so it burned me out, and there wasn't any balance between, hey, take some rest time, and then also take some time to do really good work. And so that's, messed up my balance, definitely. So I just remember kind of slipping into this terrible mind state, and actually yoga and like meditation helped me. I found this channel called Yoga with Adrian on YouTube. This was years ago, and it was awesome. Like I learned how to like deep breathe, and I would shut the door and just relax, and it really kind of helped me get out of this funk that I was in. And then I've also experienced it in small other ways with my blog and like all the pressure I put on myself to like do certain things, to get things done on time. No one else is measuring this amount of time but me. So a lot of this has to do with like just my personality type. I'm very much ambitious, type A, go-getter, anything around that, that's me. I'm very driven by doing work and being productive. But a lot of times that makes me susceptible to being, or experiencing burnout. So yeah, but for me, burnout feels like, again, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything after work. My mind is like very overwhelmed, and I know I have a to-do list, but I don't know where to start, which is unlike me because I'm very productive and I'm very planner oriented. Again, that type A thing. So usually I can look at a list, put it into priorities of what I need to do, and then tackle it. But when I get to that point where there's stuff on a list and I look at it and I am like, don't know where to start, I know for me that's a red flag that something is going on. And then more recently, I'm just responsible for a lot of things where I work, and I really do enjoy my job, but it's just a lot, and it's been a lot for a while. So I just needed some time. Like as of recently, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a day off, and it was beautiful to just have time by myself. Everyone was out of the house. I got to relax by myself, and that alone time is so important. I felt very refreshed, but I also realized too that one day was just one day, and I need to take more time. So I've decided I'm going to take at least a week off here soon, but it's one of those things that I've experienced it enough where it's a trigger for me, and I'm like, okay, this thing is happening and I'm feeling this way. This probably equals burnout. This is what I'm experiencing. So for me, my management tool has been mostly taking time off. And I know that's easier said than done. And for me, it's been very difficult to find that time because again, when you're responsible for a lot of things, it's hard for you to say, I'm just going to take off, because that impacts other people and the way they move and do things at their jobs, or again, caregiving. If you just decide to take a day off, who's going to do that part? So there's so many things there, but it is extremely important for you to take that time and make yourself a priority. And I want to say that day I took that time off, I felt very, very proud of myself. I felt very adult-like. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to take care of yourself, really. And so I was just very thankful that I was able to do that. And I do understand completely that this is not an option for everybody. I do have the luxury of being able to take time off and still get paid to do it and not have any repercussions of, hey, you weren't here and X, Y, and Z. I'm very, very thankful that I am able to do that, but I do understand not everyone has the option to do that. So if you cannot take time off immediately, maybe it's something you can plan in the future and say, okay, well, these next 4 weeks are still kind of busy, but maybe in a couple of weeks I can try to plan some time off. Even if you can't do that due to so many other things, my recommendation is asking for help. Speaking with whoever it is. If you are in an employment situation, speaking with maybe your manager and saying, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. What can we do to better the situation? I always try to think of like, what are small tweaks that you can do throughout the day that will make still being in that world better. So for me, I know I have a lot of meetings on my calendar, a lot. And if I didn't have so many meetings, then I could do a lot more things on my actual to-do list, and I probably would feel more productive. But one thing, that I could have done was say, hey, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna go to this meeting because it's not that important, and I can then focus my time on doing something else. So what's a way for you to make things a little more manageable in the meantime? Also, things that I like to do, I love to meditate. That's one of the things that really resets me when I feel like I am going off the road in a bad way. Adding that meditation in, that 5-10 minutes, and normally I end up doing more, is wonderful. I listen to a podcast called Meditation Minis, and it's a guided meditation. It's wonderful. It has really saved me in so many instances over the past 5-6 years. I absolutely love it. So meditating, once I kind of get into the groove of meditating, my mind feels better, and I usually can tackle things a lot better. But meditation is great, yoga is great, any type of exercise where you can move your body, that helps. It's like really an antidepressant, can really, really help with that. And then I love to, make sure that my diet is pretty clean during that time, and I know that's a wonderful time to stress eat, which I'm also guilty of. I'm not perfect, so there's been times where I'm just super stressed and I'm like, let me just get whatever I can get. That means fries, that means a burger, whatever it is. But I am very conscious of that and say, okay, I'm gonna let you have your time now, but we're gonna go back to eating something a little more healthier. And then I love to include like different types of herbs and things into my routine that really help manage stress and how we adapt to different stressful situations. So there's a tea that I love to drink that has a combination of ashwagandha, which is an herb, and also tulsi, which is also called holy basil. And those are fantastic for helping to manage some of those stress symptoms, some of that burnout, some of that extra just things that you don't want. And so I try to sip on that, and they really do help, especially if you are consistent with them. So that's a little bit more about burnout. I do have an article on my blog if you want to read more about this in detail. But until next time, see you.